the checklist. So what are some of the things that I'm hoping that you guys do as we are talking in our groups, in the small group?
Well, develop a question.
Okay.
Answer a peer's question respectfully.
Identify what the artist's literacy narrative was about.
Okay.
Share an idea.
Take initiative.
Mm-hmm. And what do I mean when I say take initiative?
Like take lead or something
Yeah,
Mhm.
take lead.
in the conversation.
Conversation.
So like basically engage in a structural conversation about what we read.
Mm-hmm. Anyone?
And stay on topic.
Stay on topic. When I say transition ideas, share an idea. What are ways you could do that?
Okay, so Frank could basically tell me his thoughts about the reading, and then I can go back and comment on what he said, or I can make a statement about how I felt about the reading, and we just basically engage in a conversation about the reading. So our disagreements and our agreements based on what we read.
Yeah. Anybody else? All right. So let's go to number 1 on the literacy. So literacy is based on 2 functions. What are they?
Comprehension and communication.
And what is the question with comprehension?
What do you understand from the reading?
What do you understand?
And communication is what the writer is trying to express.
What was that?
What he's trying to show you.
What he's trying to show you. Another meaning.
He's trying to put you like inside the character's mind, I guess.
Right. Trying to get you into character.
That's why I guess the literacy is very detailed, because he tells you like every little thing he does, like basically from him saying I opened my eyes wide to get a visual picture of what the reader is trying to express to you.
Mm-hmm.
He said the whole story in a third person view, basically.
Oh, and what do you think the message is for that? Why he's doing that?
The message is for the reader,
Mhm.
and he's doing that because he wants the reader to show that many people that go through struggles like him and other kids that live on reservations can actually be successful and go through obstacles by just reading books. And I think that's it.
Now he also said that he spoke in third person because he thought it would dull the pain and make him sound more modest about his talent.
Yeah, that's
But I didn't think that he should have spoken in third person. I just thought like he should have just spoke about himself. So then when people recognize his struggle and see his struggle, maybe they're gonna say like he gives me hope to think I can make it out from the reserve. But even if he still goes back to the reserve and tell kids that they should read because it can take them to a different place. So.
And does anybody else have any responses to that? What was your take on it?
I think like he expressed it, like he wrote it in a good way, but he should have started off differently. He shouldn't have started off with the whole Superman concept because it was a little confusing. Like, he should have started off explaining, like giving details about Alexi's life.
That's a good point. Does everybody share that same sentiment?
Not necessarily. I say this because, the book, let me see, when he was reading the book and basically on the dialogue, the picture, when it says that Superman is breaking the door, he kept reading it that Superman is breaking down through the door, Superman is breaking down through the door. And then he said it aloud to himself, saying, I broke down through the door, I broke down through the door. Basically, it helped improve his reading.
Right. So it was a message, right? Because again, as we're reading this, we're getting, the author is communicating an idea. That's one of those vocabulary things.
But wouldn't he have been able to kind of say the word? For him to actually be able to say it? You see how he kept repeating it.
Yeah.
But he would have had to kind of know how to say the word, because if he didn't know kind of how to say the word, he would have been speaking gibberish, because he can't. At that age, you don't know how to say break. Because I know my nephew is 3 and he doesn't know how to say break, but he knows how to talk. Like, he just goes off based off what he hears us say.
Basically, the little words. It's like baby steps, basically.
Mm-hmm. Staying so quiet. What's your input? I'm itching to hear what you have to say.
I think that like I agree with Frank. Like he should have started off telling like the background about the reservation and what struggles they had, and then down to his struggle and
Yeah.
really
I agree because that first sentence you lost me because why do I care about Superman?
So you guys definitely answered number number 2. You're basically saying that you felt like he didn't give you it,
And it made me interested.
right. You weren't interested, and then grab you, right? So were you able to get the message of what he was saying in that first paragraph?
Yeah.
Was it was it clear enough for you that in the first paragraph he was going to talk about his literacy? Was it clear enough for you guys, or wasn't it?
It was clear because you know how literacy contains both reading and writing. But then I thought like, in my opinion, I felt like he started like how a movie would start because you know how sometimes in like modern movies now they always start in the middle of the story, you know, always rewind back to the past. So I felt like he didn't have a movie.
That's something also you guys can explore when you do your literacy narrative. You can always start from the end. Remember, there's different ways that you can structure your writing. You can start from the end all the way to the beginning. You can start from the middle all the way to the end, or you can start from the beginning, middle, and end. Right. So, for number 1, what is your initial reaction to the literacy narrative? What are some of the things you guys put? And again, as you, I'm sorry, as you guys are doing things on your checklist, just check them off what you feel like you've done or what you've contributed to that checklist.
I didn't get it. Oh, this one?
Yes.
We gotta
Yes.
read number
So I
1.
was saying
Yes.
that like, my reaction was surprised. I was surprised because that Alexi was tough when it came to his education. Like he refused to fail like the others. And I used a quote from page 112. Like for that refused to fail, I was smart, I was arrogant, I was lucky. I read books late into the night until I could barely keep my eyes open. I put that he separates himself from the others. This way he don't get like caught in all that failure.
Exactly. What about you guys? What else do you feel?
I said my initial reaction to the literacy narrative was why did he choose Superman to start reading with? Also, I was shocked when reading this literacy narrative because page 11, you know the first page, paragraph 1, I said I was 3 years old. This made me so shocked because he's at a young age trying to read in advance. Also, he referred to reading also saving his life. So number 1, his age. Because why would 3-year-olds want to read? Because I know a lot of 3-year-olds that just rather play TV and run around. But he was just different. So he would just go in the corner and want to read while other kids were probably outside playing. So from a young age, I just think that he just had the perspective that he wanted to get out of here.
Why didn't you think? Why didn't he help other kids? You know, I understand he wanted to help himself to get out the reservation, but why didn't you think he wanted to help? Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know, because you know how some people are stubborn. And he probably did try to take a book sometimes and be like, want to read, and be like, no, I want to play. But 3-year-olds are just full of want to run around and have so many energy. But then I guess it's based on how your parents are too, because remember he said how his father was a man that go to church and read all these books, and he wanted to impress his father. He said because his father loves reading, I also developed a love for reading. So he just based off like what his father did, he wanted to do.
So I'm hearing you guys talking about that empowerment, right? That he was so empowered by, or so influenced by his admiration for his father and his father's love for reading that it transformed into him. But my next question is, based on that, how did it transform him? Why was literacy so important to him? What do you think that message is? Or why do you think literacy was so important to him? What did it do for him?
He gave him a home away from home.
All right.
I think it gave him a chance to like escape the reservation. After he became a writer, now he's free from the reservation. He doesn't have to
Okay.
To me, like it helped him to survive reality, what it was.
Start reality. That's a good one.
Basically, literacy basically gave him the freedom to do what he wants when he wants, because if you're poor and you're trying to get off the reservation, you got to do things in order to get off that reservation. You got to do things that others can't do, and you got to prove them wrong and say that I can do this.
Oh shit.
That's right.